Howdy everyone. You can see that I've got a little bit more wiring ran temporarily inside the fuselage here. But yet again, I don't have all my equipment. I don't have all the wire I need. I don't have the antenna cables that I need and things of that nature. So I'm not going to do anything else with this. And yet again, I'm going to skip to something else. So I'm going to go back to this structure here. Like I had talked about in a previous video, you can see where I have cut off the front half of this support. These carry through normally, but I've cut them off even, and I've talked about that in another video. This one, and of course the other one as well. So those have been cut. What I'm doing now is working on the canopy. The canopy frame. This is the front half of the frame. These are the hinge points that are going to mate with that front assembly, and I'll get to that in a moment. But initially, I was just fitting the skin to the frame, and all I had done was cleco it in place. There are holes in the skin. There are holes drilled into this piece, so it's just a matter of fitting them together. Couple things to watch out for. There's a cleco here. That cleco goes through and it will interfere with this flange here when it comes down. I'm sorry, it interferes with this flange here when it comes through, because this is not pre-drilled. So when that cleco comes through this skin and through this flange, it will hit this flange. So do not put that cleco in, because if you run it through, it's going to push this away from here and you'll have a gap in the skin. So I omitted that cleco momentarily. And then this cleco here, you can fit the flange of this piece, this flange here. This flange can fit behind the cleco that's here. So make sure that this is up against, make sure that these flanges are pushed up against this face, and then you can run that cleco all the way through, and then the cleco will kind of help hold it there. Make sure you do that on both sides. So here's the cleco here that comes through, and it's on top of this piece. You can see that this is free to move. And then the cleco on the top, this cleco here I did not put in because I don't want it to push this out. The other thing that I had done, where this piece comes up and is welded to this piece. It's welded on the bottom, but it's also welded on the top. And I had filed smooth those welds. So when I had this clecoed on here initially, there is a gap up in here on both sides because this weld on the top side of this piece in here was holding the skin up off of this. So I had a gap all through here because the skin was being held off like that because of that weld. Once I filed that weld flat, now the skin lays nice all through here. And I did that on both sides. You can see it here too. I filed that and now the skin lays nice all through here. So now, what I want to do, you can see, hopefully, this piece comes up and it gets cut, and this piece comes over and it gets cut, so that this hinge point can pass through it. But since this has not been clamped at all, or riveted or clecoed, you could move this within the gap that's in here. So I can move this within that gap left and right, and it's like that on both sides. You can possibly see how this moves, and of course it moves this way as well. So before I can position these, because there's a little bit of adjustment in here, I need to make sure that these fit with the existing structure.